Hey, this video is a really quick summary on a lot of the principles in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. The process as well as the steps that you need to take to make habits stick around and last. Now, in the book he talks about the process of habit building into 4 stages. The cue, craving, routine, and reward. Cue is really simple. It is the thing that triggers you into doing some of these habits. Now, it can be when I'm walking out, I will see a sports shoe and I would want to wear that sports shoe and go running. It can also be if I need to take some vitamin pills, I'm going to set them up in front of my dining table. That every time I sit down in front of it, I will need to take some of this pill. The more accessible and the more obvious you make all this cue, the more likely you are going to do them. To illustrate the power of cue, we can look at one of the examples by Google. Now, in case you still didn't know yet, Google is one of the most comfortable companies to be working in. Like there was this one point that when you are going to Google, you will actually have access to a lot of great cupcakes, pastry, M&M, but there's an issue with that. The issue is that they start seeing their employees somehow, getting more obese, which is kind of obvious given the amount of treats that they are given. So Google decided to change that. And one of the simplest way that they have done to create that result of change for their employees to get healthier is just to change the cue. Sure enough, they still have their M&M, but instead of having the M&M in a very accessible place that is obvious to see, they put it far away, and instead of having the M&M in a glass jar, it is now in an opaque jar where you can no longer see the M&M. And instead, they are going to put salads, healthy food, a lot more accessible, a lot more closer to reach, as compared to previously. They can get a lot of this juice, this soft drink very easily. And they also purposely just shift soft drink a little bit further away. And just within a few months time, Google's employee did get really healthy. So that is the idea of changing your cue. Now, the second piece is about changing your craving. The idea of craving is just about your desire as well as how much you associate the habit into the reward you want. Now, if you haven't heard of it, there's this simple experiment that is called Pavlov dogs. So the idea is simple. Pavlov, every single time when he wants to feed his dog, he ring a bell. So he would just ring a bell, feed the dog, ring a bell, feed the dog. And when he has conditioned the dog long enough, naturally the dog is going to associate this particular ringing a bell into getting fat, getting food. So what would happen is he would just ring a bell, and even without feeding the dog would actually salivate because it is expecting a food. So craving is the idea of associating a certain habit to a certain reward that you want to get. Now, the way that you can use this to your advantage, number one is you can actually list down the rewards that this habit can get you. Why you will want this habit, the reward, and one of the way to actively do that too is while you are actively performing the habit, you will want to associate the reward that comes with it. Like when you are running, instead of just saying that, oh my god, I hate running, it can be saying that I am a runner because I really love running as it gives me a healthy body, it gives me better energy. And also actively seeing too, throughout your day, if you actually feel more energized, to associate that to, yeah, see, I ran and that gives me a better energy. So that's how you can build up and work on the craving part. And the other piece is about your routine. So when it comes to your routine, the simplest principle is to just make it easy. Instead of saying that, you know what, my habit is to go to the gym and complete this full routine, just make the target of this routine to be the starting point, which is I am just going to stand in the gym and do stretching. Because when you tell your brain you need to do something that is really complicated, the brain most of the time is not going to like that. It's just like so much work. But instead, if you say something like, I'm just gonna write one line today, one line in your book, or you're just going to go into the gym and do stretching, and you are there really most of the time, your brain will be a lot more comfortable to do the remaining of the habit. So start really small and gradually build it up. And at the end of the day, we just talk about a simple idea, reward, which means to reward yourself based on the habits. Now, also to be mindful of the reward is to design it in a way that would support you with the intention. Like an example is, let's say I want to go to exercise just to lose weight. If my reward is some ice cream, dessert, lots of pastry, it's not gonna work because it's going to have the opposite effect of losing weight. But instead, if let's say I set my reward to be a very simple, one small piece of dark chocolate, that may just work really well. In fact, there's a research study that done on this and talk about the efficiency of just how one small dark chocolate can create change. So I'll just leave a link down in the description below. So that's about it. Those are the 4 steps in creating change, and by just following this through, you should be able to create some habits that really stick to you.